Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sarasota Tim, coming to you from beautiful Sarasota, Florida, here in South Florida on the West Coast. And today's video is about Medicare. We are in open enrollment right now. It is November 19, 18, something like that. I'm retired, so I don't exactly know, of 2024. And I want to make a video telling you something that you need to consider doing. And that is checking on a few things I'm going to go over with you regarding Medicare. If you're 65 years old, as you know, and you're on your Social Security, or if you're not on Social Security, you should be, but you can now and must get, unless you have insurance with some employer that has a lot of employees still that are full-time, you must apply for Medicare, Part B at least. And there's two ways you can go. And let's talk to people also that are on Medicare and have been on Medicare already for either years or even only just their first year. Like myself, only a couple of years now. Let me see. I'm 66, 1 year. Forget how old I am. Let's begin. All right. Medicare is insurance for your health. We all know that. And there's two kinds. There's a free kind, which I have, and there's a cost kind, which about half of the other country has. It's almost right down the middle. So it's not like there's a clear winner. Don't let anybody fool you to disparage the Advantage plan, which we all like to call as a joke, the disadvantage plan, which there's no disadvantages. If there's any kind of a disadvantage, in my opinion, it's the one I got to pay for, because that amounts to $4,000 to $6,000 a year, $3,000 to $4,000 a year, just for the insurance with prescription drugs, hearing, vision, dental, and all these things that you don't get, and everything you got to pay for. And you haven't even gotten sick yet. So if you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 years of good health, and you're just still paying it every year, just think how that accumulates after a couple of years of good health where you really don't need it. Where if you have the Advantage plan, or we like to call it the disadvantage plan as a joke, which is what I have, and you can get it through Aetna, Humana, AARP, which is United Healthcare, or something like that, AAA. There's all these different ones. You just call a Medicare agent, look it up, Google it, 1-800-MEDICARE, and they can write policies with any of these companies. Some only write through certain companies, so get somebody that can write through all of them. And ask these questions, okay? Before I move on to my next point, is those two plans. And when you get the one that costs money, you need to be a person, in my opinion, that has money, you know, that you can afford to give away $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a year on medical insurance, just so you can say, if you ever left your home zip code, which most people don't, they may go from one place to another, like a snowbird here we have in Florida, and they can go to a doctor in New York. They can go to a doctor here in Florida. They can go to a doctor really anywhere in the United States of America if they, good morning. Okay, I got a message come through there. If you have the one you pay for, you're able to go to any doctor in America that accepts Medicare. And that's pretty much all of them. So you do have like all this coverage. But wait, there's more. Don't despair, because with the Advantage plan, there are two plans. There's an HMO and a PPO. Well, what's the difference? Well, an HMO, let's say you know you're really never going to leave your zip code, your area. Like when you were employed, you had health insurance, but you had to go, most of those policies, within a network of where you work and lived. And that's the same way with Medicare on the Advantage plan that's called the HMO. So if you were to be traveling outside, you'd still be covered in case of an emergency, and you'd be covered if you're willing to pay for it outside of that. But otherwise, you need to go within where you live. But if you're a traveler like me, I'm a YouTuber. I go around all the time. I don't sit still. You never know where I'm going to be. But I'm very healthy. I don't really go to the doctors that much, except I got some eye issues and some skin issues, and I'm taking care of that. So I have a new plan that I discovered that I got on only a few months ago when I moved, and that's called a PPO. And it works very similar to the one that costs you thousands of dollars a year, with the exception, instead of going to my own zip code, like the HMO I did have, which was fine, now I can go to over 50,000 providers nationwide. So I'm likely to find a doctor no matter where I go, just like the one that costs money. Although there's probably more than 50,000 providers in this country. So with the original supplement plan that you pay for through Medicare, you can go to, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of doctors there are. So you would have that advantage. But again, it costs you money. So consider, if you have the money coming in, a pension, you got plenty of money, you don't care, you want that advantage, you don't want to have to go to a certain network or even a certain doctor that's on the PPO, of which there's 50,000 plus providers with Humana anyway, that's who I have, then you can go with the other. All right, so those are the two choices you have. You must choose one. I choose the free plan. It also gives me free dental, free prescriptions, and all these things. What are the costs? Why is it free? Well, if I go to a doctor, like a specialist, I got to pay $45. But I'm not paying $300 or $400 every month either. So the occasional time I do go to a specialist, like for my ophthalmologist or a dermatologist, it costs me $45. Some of these plans are only $5 or $10. But because I got the PPO that gives me all that additional providers of over 50,000, that's probably why my copay is a little higher. But what's $45 compared to $300 or $400 a month? The rest of it's paid. My prescriptions, most of them are all zero cost, except some that are what they call a tier 4 or 5, like a high dollar prescription. But guess what? After I pay my $300, $350 annual deductible, which could be after one prescription or a couple of months, like I have to take these eye drops. I have glaucoma. And there's one eye drop they just started me on. My cost is $100. It's a $400 medication, a little bottle like that. We know prescriptions can be expensive, but good news. I thought I was going to be nailed to the wall and have to pay that the rest of my life, $100 a month, because the bottle's only good for a month. But no, I found out once I meet my deductible of $350, the rest of the year is paid. So now a $1,200 annual cost with insurance for that bottle of eye drops is only going to cost me $350 a year. It's unfortunate, but that's better than $100 every single 30 days. And I still can go anywhere I want in the country for all of my Medicare needs, should I get sick or anything like that. All right, so HMO, stay at home. PPO, you can travel. Supplement plan costs you $300, $400, $500, $600 a month to $300 a month anyway. And the reason I say it's $400, $500, $600 a month, I forgot to tell you this part. We all have to pay out of our Social Security $175. I think it's going to go up to $185 for our Part B. That comes out of our Social Security. Every single Social Security recipient pays this, except me and potentially you, because if you get an Advantage plan and you ask your agent on the phone, do you have a give back insurance company that gives back to your Part B, like I do here in South Florida? It's not everywhere, and it's not as much as I'm getting everywhere. But if you got $50 back, put back into your Part B, that's less money that you lose out of your Social Security. So if you get the Advantage plan like me with Humana, the Humana Choice, it gives me back $175. They contacted Social Security and they say, do not take any more than $10 from Tim, because we're giving $175 back into his Part B. So it's going to be $185 in January of 2025. I'll be seeing $10 come out of my Social Security only, as Humana pays the difference, and I can still go anywhere in the country with over 50,000 participants for health insurance and have those small copays and a maximum out of pocket. And my maximum out of pocket annually is $6,500. You say, whoa, what? $6,500? Hang on. That's only if I was sick so many times in 1 year that I would reach that. It doesn't mean I got to pay the first $6,500 if I was hospitalized. I only pay the copay, the co-share of that particular illness that time. And then I'm back to the, they'll pay the rest. So a lot of these things people don't understand. They confuse the Advantage plan with, oh, here's the big myth. Oh, they're going to let you die in the hospital. They're going to let you die on your bed because they got to get pre-authorization before the doctor is allowed to do anything. Yeah, they do. You know how long it takes? About a second. They don't take days. They don't let you die. If you need something in emergency, they perform it. They do it. Don't let anybody tell you that garbage, because they don't do that. It's just that the insurance companies like Aetna and Humana, they don't want to be taking over the coals like these doctors are doing to original Medicare, the supplement plans. Because when they say, we want to do this surgery because we can make a lot of money, the government doesn't say anything. They say, here's the money. You know how much fraud goes on every year? Billions and billions. Every single year is charged to the government for Medicare fraud by these doctors and doing unnecessary surgeries, procedures, even phoning up procedures they don't even do, putting them on pills and things like that. And guess what? The third leading cause of death is in this country? You ready? Google it. Going to the doctor. Medical errors are only third to cancer and heart attacks, heart disease, than anything else. So these doctors, they don't even want to work anymore. They got their nurse practitioners going in, doing everything for them. They just want to be on the golf course. They're just sitting back. What can I charge? Like an auto repair shop. We don't want to do an oil change. You need a CV axle. You need a new air conditioning. Let's make some big money. You got good insurance, right? And that's what they do. It's like chiropractors. You go in, oh, my back hurts, my neck hurts. You got good insurance, right? Nothing we can't fix in about 67 visits. You got good insurance, right? That's what they do. They milk it. So Aetna, Humana, and those places, they're like, hey, that's why they give you free gym memberships and free over-the-counter medications. Like, I mean, not medications, but aspirins and blood pressure machines and all of these other things they give you for free too, because they want you to stay in good health, because they don't want to have to cough up the money. They want you to stay in good health, and it's for you. It's good for you to do that. So get the Advantage plan. You get all the pills, I mean, the prescriptions, the eye care, the dental care. It might only be cleanings and a few things and x-rays a year, but that's preventative maintenance. And every quarter they'll give you money to go and order online, Vicks and Q-tips and blood pressure machines and a whole list of stuff you can get free of charge mailed to you because they want you to stay healthy. Free gym membership, and then plus you get the hearing check every year, vision, dental, all of that. And it's free. Free. You get it for free. No charge at all for the policy. And then if you have, let's get back to it, the Give Back program, the $175. Remember that? So now I don't even pay the $175. Now, if you get an Advantage plan and you live in a state and they say, well, Aetna or Humana here doesn't have the Give Back program. We just got the free insurance with all the other things that Tim talked about. Well, that's better than paying the $200, $175, $185 next year out of your Part B, plus buy an insurance policy, plus buy dental, prescription drugs, Part D, and all that other stuff on top of that. Unless you got the money. One thing you got, plenty of money. If you do that, good for you. Good on you. You do that. Me, I know people and friends that have had heart surgeries, heart transplants, heart attacks, you name it. new hips, new knees, new everything, and they got the disadvantage plan. And it didn't cost them anything more than a little copay, and you're done. But remember, there is a 65, mine, it was $9,500 last year, but you know what? Again, that's only if you have cumulative, numerous, serious in-hospital stays. This is not outpatient stuff. Then you can rack up the most out of pocket. But again, if I go another 3 years without seeing a doctor versus the other way, where I may never go to a doctor and I still pay $3,000 to $5,000, $6,000 a year between my Part B deduction and the insurance and the prescription plan and all that, that's just nuts to me. That's just nuts. I want my money in my pocket from my Social Security. I don't want to give it back to these insurance companies. All right, so moving on. Phase 2 that I want you to get. You got a disadvantage plan. You got the Medicare $300, $400, $500, $600 a month plan, and you want to stay there. Well, let me just give you this advice then. You want to stay there? Fine. But check with your agent. Did you know that the plan you've got, if it was last year or was 4 years ago, you're 70, and you got it 5 years ago, and you just like, I've got insurance. I've been on Medicare for 5 years. What do I need to watch this video for? I'll tell you why right now. Every year, maybe you've experienced it, the cost has changed. Did you know if you have that supplement plan, it's called, most likely you have what they call the G plan? Did you know that's the same? They can't change it. It's the same coverage with any insurance company. They're identical. But the only thing different is the cost. So let's say you got Aetna and you're paying $300 a month for a G plan, and you call that insurance agent right now when you finish this video and you say, how much is my plan? Because I can go to any doctor. There's no cost for me. I don't have co-shares, co-pays. I think there's a $200 a year thing you pay with that, the first $200 on the G plan. But they say, oh yeah, your G plan is only $200 with Humana. You can still go to any doctor. They're still going to accept it. The only thing you're going to pay is less money for the plan. And people just forget about it. And they don't call you and tell you, hey, your plan went up or down. I mean, they'll tell you when it goes up. Yes, you get charged more. But they don't tell you when it goes down. So you got to do your due diligence. You got to call each and every year during this moment, this time. It started in, wasn't it October 15th or something? And it ends December 7th. And if you make any changes, it doesn't take effect till January 1. So call your agent. And even if you have the disadvantage plan, maybe the copays and the give back program is bigger or smaller and less copays and less MOOP, maximum out of pocket annual fee, is better with somebody else. It changes every year. These insurance companies make their changes. Just like your auto insurance changed. A lot of people say, oh, I ain't calling Progressive. I'm not calling Geico. I ain't got the time for that. I don't care how much it costs. I'm staying right where I am because one thing I got, plenty of money. So you do that if that's what you want to do. But if you're smart and you want to save money, even $50 a month, think about that annually. Call your agent now and say, do I have the best plan? Is there one cheaper that gives me more money back if I have the Advantage plan, or if I've got the G plan, the one that you're paying for? Is there another G plan, because it's going to be the same coverages, that's cheaper? Check it out, folks. Save yourself some money. Listen to me. Don't be lazy on this. I'm calling, and I've got $175 coming back into my Social Security starting next year. And I see my co-pays and a couple of things went up, down. They were kind of negligible. But I'm going to call and say, is there one that still gives me the $175, but it is less copay for this eye doctor I got to see, and dermatologist that I apparently got to go see 3 or 4 times a year because I'm eat up with skin issues because I live in Florida. But either way, whatever your issues are, and if you only got insurance, here's the last thing I want to say. If you only got your Medicare in the last year, and 1 year hasn't transpired yet, you can switch without any medical questionnaire from the supplement plan to the disadvantage plan, or the advantage plan to the supplement plan. You can even still switch from an advantage plan to a supplement plan with a questionnaire if you're like only on, you know, statin or whatever they call that, and blood pressure, because they put everybody on that. That's not a big deal. But if you've had some serious stuff and it's on your report on the computer and you got some stuff, they're not going to take you back over in the supplement plan. But what difference does it make? You got an annual copay, a maximum out of pocket, MOOP, M-O-O-P, and you've got your copay, you know, when you go to the specialist. And so the bottom line is you need to know if you're paying too much for your G plan or for your Advantage plan. And if you don't have insurance and it's the first year for you, you're turning 65, you need to consider the Advantage plan over the cost plan. But you do what you want to do. And then another thing is you can change your plan if you have an Advantage plan, and you must do it if you move. If you move anytime during the year, you don't have to wait for open enrollment, because if you're on an Advantage plan that's a HMO and they make you go within your zip code, you know, a network of people, then you get a new network and they want to know that where you're living. And so they'll change it for you. You don't have to wait till open enrollment next October, or which is going on right now. So anytime you move, remember you can do that. And it's open enrollment right now. Make sure you get the lowest cost you can get. Check the plan that you might have had since last year and crush it.